From Louisiana's news channel, this is 9 News at 10.
Well, you saw the results here first on WAFB. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome gets 4 more years. Good evening, I'm Matt Houston. She defeated former State Representative Steve Carter soundly. A day after the storm passed, lights are still off in thousands of homes across the capital region. Take a look at the trees in your neighborhood and it's easy to see why.
He won Louisiana by about 20 points in 2016.
Well, I think the timing of it is certainly important, too. With all that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, this was very much a campaign stop for the president.
This is Louisiana's 5th congressional district, with a little sliver in our viewing area. And this is your new congressman, Luke Letlow.
What does it mean to be a leader on a defense that showed up like it did tonight?
With Halloween on a Saturday night under our full moon, it's hard not to ask how cool this celebration could have been. Good evening, I'm Matt Houston. Though a few of you are out knocking on doors with your kids, Baton Rouge streets are largely haunted by the silence of a pandemic. Front porches are empty, neighborhoods are lonely. Former State Representative Steve Carter will win this corner. So then the real battleground, if you will, is going to be here.
Maybe a front arriving before then.
Boy, that would be fun. A little winter wonderland in Baton Rouge.
No snow. I'm not saying snow. Don't put that out there.
A live look at our nation's capital tonight. Thousands of National Guardsmen and women are there now, including 170 from Louisiana. And as you can see, the last 24 hours, violence has not spared a corner of the city.
Jim called the race, and the place erupted just like a football game. This is the number they've been waiting to hear for 4 years.
And this last number has actually dropped, but you can see the lows for the work week behind me shaping up to be chilly, barely brushing 70 this week. Good evening, I'm Matt Houston. You'll need a coat when you head to work, but Jared Silverman, you probably won't need an umbrella.
If you look over behind me, over on the PMAC, we've got this whole row of people with a good view of the parade.
It has stronger spikes that make it easier to latch on to the other cells so that it spreads faster. This is especially concerning because the state's top doctors say there's never been more COVID in Louisiana. Every parish in code red tonight. But what we found is that the sticker shock is a little less shocking when people have an extra $1,800 in their pocket. In fact, state economists say more people are buying cars this year than they ever predicted. Just hours from now, lawmakers will vote on a coronavirus compromise, an urgent aid package that means more money for you. Good evening, I'm Matt Houston, and this deal is as last minute as it gets. The package is centered on $600 stimulus checks for most Americans. Parents would get an extra $600 tacked on for each of their children. It would also boost unemployment payments by $300 each week and pay landlords on renters' behalf. Jacques, it would be a lot easier to just pretend this game never happened and relive 2019's performance, right? Good evening, I'm Matt Houston. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome blames the coronavirus for this year's spike in crime. But even with a vaccine on the way, COVID-19 isn't going anywhere, meaning now is the time for a new solution. 2 weeks until Election Day, and President Trump and former Vice President Biden are still trying to do a little convincing. Jeff, thank you. You would like to think Tiger Stadium will be quieter tonight because of the coronavirus restrictions, but if you take a look at today's ticket prices, well, different story. $24 here, the lowest and cheapest. You got to do quite a bit of scrolling before things get unreasonable. Most of your prices in the mid-30s. The Tigers are not just competing with the #1 team in the country. They've got to win over an apathetic fan base that doesn't seem to care much about tonight's outcome. It did so much for the organization as well as the city of New Orleans. Hard to forecast what's next for Drew Brees and the Saints. A little easier perhaps to forecast what's next for your work league. Unlike you, it does not really look like Christmas outside, but I don't think people are complaining.
You mean to tell me it's Christmas?
I never would have known.
I just bust this out, whatever.
Oh, right, just casually.